There is a specific kind of pain that does not come from rejection. It comes from loving someone who is physically present, but emotionally unreachable. You may notice a pattern forming quietly in your life. You feel deeply, you connect quickly, and yet the people you fall in love with are often distant, guarded, or only partially available. They may offer moments of warmth, but never consistency. They may feel intense, but never safe. And slowly, without realizing it, your heart begins to question itself. Why does love always feel like waiting? Why does closeness always feel just out of reach? But your heart is not choosing wrong because it is broken. It is choosing from what it knows. We, the Pleiadians, work within the emotional field of the heart, especially with women whose sensitivity learned to adapt instead of receive. What you are drawn to is not emotional absence itself. It is familiarity. It is the quiet hope that this time, love will finally stay. Your heart is not trying to suffer. It is trying to complete a pattern it learned before it had words. And until that pattern becomes conscious, the heart will continue to return to what feels known, even when it hurts. When love enters your life through distance, the heart learns to move toward what is not fully there. Affection becomes something you wait for. Emotional presence becomes something you imagine. And connection becomes something you try to sustain on your own. Often, this pattern begins early. Love may have existed, but it was inconsistent. Care may have been offered, but not reliably. So your nervous system learned to stay alert, to adjust, to remain emotionally available even when the other was not. Over time, this creates a subtle confusion inside the heart. Unavailable people feel familiar. Emotionally present people feel unfamiliar. Not because presence is wrong, but because it does not match what your system learned to recognize as love. So when someone is emotionally open, steady, and responsive, your heart may feel restless, bored, or unsure of how to respond. This is not a sign that something is missing in you. It is a sign that your heart was trained to love through effort, not reciprocity. And what feels familiar is not always what is healthy. It is simply what was repeated. Your heart is not asking you to love less. It is asking you to stop loving in places where it cannot be met. There is an important difference here. When you fall in love with unavailable hearts, the soul often confuses intensity with intimacy, longing with connection, waiting with devotion, but intensity can exist without safety, and longing can grow where intimacy never arrives. Unavailable love keeps the heart activated, alert, and emotionally engaged, but it does not nourish, it does not rest, and it does not deepen. Many women learned early that love meant staying open even when the other pulled away, that closeness meant adapting, that being chosen meant remaining patient. So the heart became skilled at enduring, instead of receiving. We, the Pleiadians, observe this pattern often in sensitive hearts, not because these hearts love incorrectly, but because they were never shown what mutual emotional availability feels like inside the body. Your heart is now trying to learn a new language, one where love does not require pursuit, one where presence is steady, not occasional, one where affection does not disappear when you relax. This is not about rejecting love. It is about recognizing when love is finally aligned. This is the moment where understanding becomes orientation, not the kind of understanding that analyzes or explains, but the kind the heart recognizes when something finally feels clear. You are not here to harden yourself. You are not here to withdraw your love. And you are not here to become less sensitive in order to be chosen. We, the Pleiadians, work with emotional realignment when the heart has learned to adapt to absence. Our role is not to take love away from you, but to gently restore the inner compass of the heart. As awareness deepens, a quiet shift begins. You start to notice when love does not arrive, when presence is partial, when connection requires effort instead of mutual openness. And instead of leaning forward, something new happens. The heart pauses, not in fear, but in clarity. If this message resonates, write this sentence in the comments. Not as a promise and not to convince anyone. Write it because the act of choosing availability needs to move from thought into awareness. When something is written, the nervous system registers it differently. The heart recognizes intention not as hope, but as orientation. And unconscious patterns begin to loosen their grip. Writing this sentence is not about changing yourself overnight. It is about giving your heart a clear reference point. So write gently and honestly, I choose emotional availability, not to demand love, not to force an outcome, but to remind yourself that your heart no longer needs to adapt to absence in order to feel connected. Each time awareness is named, the pattern weakens, and space opens for a different kind of love to be recognized. Because love meant for you does not hide, it does not withdraw, and it never asks you to disappear in order to stay.